McCarthy Insurance Group, serving the community for over 70 years. For home, farm, motor, life, health and business insurance, log on to mig.ie or free phone 1800 50 11 11. Probably your best call in 2024. Charles McCarthy Insurance is trading as McCarthy Insurance Group, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Real people, real opinions, real talk radio. The multi-award-winning Niall Boylan Show.
As a special. Now, normally, as, the night goes on, my good friend Jane, my producer, will decide, that we need a special guest on. As I said before, she never really tells me who they are until they actually go on, which I find interesting. But tonight is a kind of panel of sorts, if you will, a panel of international experts. The subject, sperm donation. From the perspective of the sperm donor. Now, you may remember a few weeks ago, we chatted to a very interesting US author. Her name was Krista Billington. And she shared some of her life with us and a story with us that she found out her father was a sperm donor and she had potentially hundreds of siblings. She even briefly dated a half-brother accidentally. And it was a fascinating story. And it is up on the Classic Hits page under podcasts, by the way, if you want to go back and have a listen, because it is a fascinating story. Anyway, it got us, well, it didn't get me thinking. It got Jane thinking. Because Jane thinks about these things. She gets very deep in thought about things like this. They start to get to her after a while if she doesn't get to the bottom of it. That she needs to do something more about it and get more people on. So thinking that tonight I'm going to be speaking to two men who have dedicated a good amount of their lives to donating sperms to help other people or help women who can't have children with their partners maybe or singly on their own. By our calculations, they have fathered probably 600 children between them. Kyle Gordy is from the US, but is calling from Australia, and we're talking to us from Australia. And Jonathan Jacob Meyer from the Netherlands joins us as well from Berlin. And both have very different stories about why they feel the calling to be a sperm donor. And they both join me. Gentlemen, good evening to you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Jonathan here.
Jonathan, I'm going to go to you first. Kyle, how you doing? I'm going to go to you first, Jonathan, because, Jonathan, you're kind of under a warning now at this stage. You're not allowed to do it anymore, sure you're not?
Yeah, officially, indeed, yeah. But I already stopped donating to new recipients in 2019. So it was kind of, lost case in that perspective.
Now, how many children do you think, Jonathan, you have fathered up to now, by your estimation?
I'm sure about at least 550, but it could be higher because some clinics are not giving over any information. For example, the Creels clinic in Denmark, they're not sharing any information with parents or donors about the amount of children they conceived.
And if you do it again, you risk a huge fine. Which is roughly in and around €100,000 of a fine. That's a big fine, by the way. And that's according to the BBC. They reported that if you do it again.
Yeah, if I help new recipients, which I wasn't doing since 2019, I'll get the fine. But I am allowed to help the recipients with that already have a child of me for a sibling. So a second or third or fourth child is fine.
Okay. And let me go to Kyle. Kyle, how many children do you think you fathered at this stage?
70 and another 6 on the way, but all around the world. So typically they contact me on my Instagram, HowGordy1234, and typically that's how a lot of the women contact me. So,
Kyle, just in case any woman is interested, Kyle Gordy1234. All right, in your Instagram.
And I have women pregnant in Australia, United States, Europe, and then I have one pregnant in Hong Kong right now. So like 4 continents pregnant right now.
Okay, so are you not doing it to a sperm clinic? You're doing it personally yourself, is it? Privately?
Yes, yeah. The woman just contacted me on my Instagram, and then I'm actually going to be going to Dublin. It looks like around the 14th But of course, if
Is
there's women in Dublin,
is that a warning, by the way, that you're sending out there just in case? So you're coming to Dublin if any woman
yeah,
is
just in
interested.
case anyone's interested and they want help, of course I can help in Dublin. I have one woman there that wants me to help the 14th, but of course I'm going to be from London and flights are really cheap, so I can cover my own travel. And if someone's out there and we really connect and they want me to come out to Dublin to help them out, I would be happy to. If anyone hears me on the show and they need assistance having a child for free.
And I'm curious why both of you did this. And Jake, or Jonathan, just coming back to you, was it for the money, Jonathan? Were you stuck for money, or why did you do it? Why did you start doing it?
We are not allowed to ask any money in the Netherlands for any donations, so I only was allowed to ask travel expenses covered.
Okay.
So no, I didn't make any money, and the clinics barely give you enough for the travel expenses. For me, it was I don't know. It was not really something I planned to do that much. It just started that I had a friend in college that was infertile, and it made a big impact on me, his story. And I did some research and found out that sperm banks, offer a great help.
Okay, so you were doing it for philanthropic reasons more so. Yeah, I get you. Okay, because you wanted to do it and help people. Whereas you, Kyle, on the other hand, I think you are doing it for the money. Do I get that impression?
No, I don't charge. I'm
not?
free. No, I don't charge anything. No, I'm free. I cover my own travel. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was going to go to Dublin on my own cost. I wasn't charging anybody.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So if
like,
a woman contacts you on Instagram and she wants some of your sperm for whatever reason, so you offer it for free?
Yeah, I offer for free, and I usually cover my own travel. But a lot of times I'm going to places that I'm going to be sightseeing. For instance, I'm supposed to be going to Israel and Amsterdam and Dublin this coming, and Malta this coming fall. So I want to visit those places anyways. So it's kind of convenient for me to cover my own travel because if I can help someone in those places,
yeah,
then it's fine. It's not a big issue if I cover my own travel because I want to sightsee anyways in those areas.
So the charge. Okay, then clarify this. Maybe I'm picking you up wrong. So the charge is they have to cover your travel expense.
No, not really. I cover my own travel.
So what? So how are you doing that? How are you funding that?
I just my brother, he's very helpful. He's supportive of me, and so he's like, "Yeah, I'll cover your travel," because he never had any kids of his own, right? So to him, it kind of makes him really happy to help out with some travel costs. But I'm also very cheap. I get deals, and if you've been traveling a while, you know how to get the really good deals and stuff. And right now, I'm kind of just traveling. I don't really have a home back home. I'm kind of just a little nomad right now, temporarily
So
for the
what's
next
involved in
few
it
months.
for Kyle? For you, let's say a woman in, I don't know, New York contacts you, and she thinks you're an attractive looking guy. You look good. Maybe you're intelligent. I don't know why they want you, but she wants your sperm. So you head off to New York. This is the way it works, I assume. You head off to New York. So then how does it work out? What's the arrangement? How do you actually give her the sperm?
Well, typically we can do it in a cup or we can do it naturally, which is just intercourse. So it depends what she feels comfortable with. But typically she'll track her ovulation, and when we know her ovulation dates, I'll fly out around their ovulation dates, and we will get her pregnant. And in a cup or just naturally. So it really depends what she wants. But also, I'm also not just looking to donate, because recently I've been more looking for a relationship. So I'm trying to find a girl that will accept me. So if there's any Irish lasses that are interested in an American and they can accept me for what I do, hey, I'm open. My DMs are always open for that.
Yeah, you're marketing yourself.
I'm more than just
Yeah, it's a very different reasons to the reasons, that Jonathan is doing it. But Jonathan, there's a problem here that I see with both of you. And that is that we had a woman on the show, Krista Billington, sorry, she was on with us. She's written a book. And she only found out that her father, like you two guys, was a sperm donor. And, this can cause complications in life because she ended up dating her own brother. So, Jonathan, what do you say to people who say that's a problem?
Well, they clearly are not. Well, these things happened in the past when sperm donation was anonymous, and she unfortunately couldn't find any like a way to know that who was her donor father. But in the Netherlands, it's not allowed to donate anonymously. I always was also when I donated outside the clinics, always open about my identity. So children and parents know my identity, and they can easily check if they meet a sibling or a possible sibling just by asking, if you're a donor child. And they can easily find out that they're not. They don't have to worry that they will date long term.
But here in Ireland, we don't have regulation. We still don't have proper regulation around it, and people can buy sperm online or off Kyle or off you. Well, not off you, obviously, because you do it through a clinic. But they can buy sperm online, and it's completely anonymous. And one woman could buy it in Cork, and tomorrow another woman in Dublin could buy sperm, and it could be from the same person, and then they could meet later in life.
No, because the clinics, they are not. I donate only by open identity. So the
and that's in the clinic you go to.
Yeah.
But it is a problem in many parts of the world. It may not be there in the Netherlands. May not be a problem, but in America, it's clearly a problem. In Ireland, it's clearly a problem because we don't have the same regulations.
Well, I can answer that question. Really
Kyle,
easily.
go ahead. You answer that question.
So America has over 330 million people. So statistically, even if you have 100 kids spread out through America, which I don't even have even close to, pretty much I have kids throughout 14 states in America. And I also the difference between me and a clinic is even if they are through a clinic, the statistical probability of two siblings meeting and dating is astronomical. And even still, if you're donor conceived at a clinic, you're going to be asking the person, hey, by the way, who's your father? Are you donor conceived? Like they bring it up, like they know to bring it up. And also they can do like 23andMe genetic testing to see if they're related. But with me in my hand, there's a 0% chance of it happening, not only because they're spread out throughout America, it's also I connect the moms and the siblings with each other. So there's really a 0% chance of any incest on top of the fact that there's 330 million people in America. It's just not statistically probable. Plus, I have kids spread out throughout Europe, Asia, and Australia.
Kyle, with respect, let me give you an example. I'm adopted, okay? And I only found out who my sister was when I was 50. She was also adopted. We're a country of 5 million people. We were both adopted by the same person. We ended up living, when we shared stories after we met, we lived in the same housing estate. We knew the same people. We were only a year apart in age. We hung around in the same group or friends group and obviously, same schools and stuff like that. I could have ended up dating my own sister. Now, I didn't, but I could have. So what I'm saying to you is, you're saying statistically it's not, it's unlikely, but it can happen, and it happened to this particular woman.
Well, Dublin's also very small. You have to understand, I purposely go out and donate, and we know going into it that the kids, where they're coming from, typically the moms are honest with the kids very early that, hey, you're from this sperm donor guy, and when you're older. And I also connect the siblings. Yeah, like obviously you're in this country that's very, very small, and you have maybe 1,000 kids in a country of 5 million. Obviously the probabilities increase, but you're talking about 330 million. On top of that, I connect the moms, the kids, and I have my DNA online so people can do 23andMe to find that they're siblings. And like I said, if they date and their parents are honest with them, which they typically are in almost all cases, they're going to tell them, hey, if you date someone, maybe you want to ask them where they come from, their father or whatnot. And there's not really an issue. There's literally a 0% chance. Obviously, if you had 1 million kids in America, maybe that's more of an issue. But, if I had like 50, 60, 70 kids in America, it's not a concern. But in Dublin, of course, maybe in Ireland, I think it's a bit more of a concern, even though it's still really, really, really slim. I mean, obviously, it's 5 million people, so the probability
I'm not denying that the chances are
higher.
Small, but still it can happen. Yeah, sorry, Jonathan, do your family know what they clearly do, actually, because you've been all over the news. Jonathan, your family know what you do. What do your family think of of you donating sperm? Have they all very agreeable about it, or because I suppose some families would be Christian type families and they don't agree with that kind of thing, and so what do they think of it? Are they okay with it?
Well, of course they know, and some family members have seen, of course, the children on pictures, and we also met one time with a few of the families, so they know it. But I'm not really concerned about what they really think about it themselves, because that's their choice. I made the decision to become a donor, and one of the hardest things for me was I understood what it is to be a donor, but I also involved my family indirectly. I made them also like grandparents and uncles and aunties. So I found it really one of the most difficult things about being a donor is that you influence your family with that. So I told them I'm a donor, but then I keep it like on a whole different level. I keep my family's my private life, and I have my donor life. So I separate them. And I also let them free about what I never ask them what do you think about it, or they are free to think about me and the donor. They can reject the whole idea if they want in their minds, but like
there
I
was a
separated
case. I mean, just in relation to complications, there was a case that you were involved in. Or should I say, no, sorry, you weren't involved in it, but a shocking case, it came to the light that a mother of one of the children had filed a lawsuit against you in The Hague, and the judge, basically, who heard the civil case, said the donor, I'm assuming that's you, misinformed prospective parents about the number of children they already had fathered in the past. So what was, explain that to me if you can, or why that happened, or how that happened.
You mean about the court case?
Yes, yeah. So what actually happened in that case, and why did that mother take a lawsuit to The Hague?
Well, I think it has to do with my perspective is it Netflix wants to make a documentary about me, and they needed some sort of news value. So first they contacted me, hey, can we make a documentary with you? Because we read about you and we find it interesting. And then I said, no, I don't want to make this like a sensational thing. You know, it's like a very private thing. And suddenly this court case comes up like 2 months after. So I found it really odd that these things happen like so short.
Seem more than a coincidence. Yeah,
I don't have evidence for that, but it's my
your
what
belief.
I'm really thinking about. So because also it was strange that I stopped donating like to new recipients in 2019. Maybe a handful of new people that found me through my YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram contacted me, but I wasn't really active back then. So I'm really unsure about what really want. They say we want you to stop directly now, and I was like, wow, this is. They could have called me, this foundation could say, hey.
And why did
the mother?
Yeah, why did that mother say that you misinformed prospective parents about the number of children you already had fathered in the past? But I mean, if you're doing it to a sperm clinic or to a clinic, sure, that wouldn't be your big problem. That's the clinic's problem, isn't it?
Well, this was a private donation, and she says that I misinformed her about the correct number.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You're also a musician as well, by the way, in your spare time, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's a passion of mine. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I'm looking here, by the way. There was there's a story actually there that it was reported in May. The story of a Dutch YouTuber accused of fathering more than 500 children is to be explored in a Netflix documentary series titled "Fertility Fraudster." That's a working title. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
So are they going to go ahead and make this documentary without you?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Okay, that must be difficult for you, is it?
Well, for what I heard, the people that work with the documentary, you know, I'm just, yeah, it's just. Well, I'm curious what they're what are they going to tell. Well, I met him online. He wanted to help me with a baby. He came to my home. He donated in the cup. He left, and then I got pregnant. So that's the
Yeah. So
that's
I don't know how they're going to fill an hour and a half with that. That's going to be pretty boring, isn't it, for an hour and a half? You know, unless there's something else they're delving into.
3-part documentary. So.
And does it concern you? Are you worried about that documentary? Because they're obviously going to be talking about you, and you've obviously refused to take part in it, which is fair enough. That's your right to do that. But does it concern you that they're running a documentary about you?
No, not really. I mean,
because you know, just to remind people again, the title that they're using now, it's a working title, so they may change the title.
Yeah.
Is Fertility Fraudster. That's not a nice title for you to have, is it?
Absolutely. I had a really bad feeling when I met this guy that was working on this documentary. I felt like he said, no, it will be like a general story about sperm donation. And I felt like there was something not good with his intentions. He was very unclear. And then after asking 5 times, well, what is the documentary going to be about? He said, only you and only this case. And then I said, okay, thank you, but I'm not...
thank you, but no
going
thank you.
to cooperate. But I found a really great company that wants to run my own story in a good manner, not like a fraudster. You know, it's like ridiculous. You help people effortlessly. I spent 50,000 hours of my life helping all these people for no money and no fame or whatever. It's fine, but then call this person a fraudster. Like
well, of course. What I would do in your case then, if you believe, obviously they're saying that in the wrong, I would get yourself a solicitor, and when they do, if they do release the documentary, you know, obviously you will have a case against them if they're going to defame you in any way. Anyway, sorry, just getting back to Kyle as well. Kyle, you said you were looking for a girl because slightly different to Jonathan. You know, you can go to people's houses and you'll deliver the sperm in the old-fashioned way. When you say you're looking for a girl, are you looking for like a wife?
Yeah, like a wife that settle down and have kids with that will accept me for what I do.
You've not got enough kids already.
I'm getting older, so
yeah. Have you not got enough kids?
Yeah, I already have kids, but it'll be good to have my own with a wifey. You know, Irish. I heard Irish women make good wives, so that could go well for me.
Yeah. And what's the attraction with you, Kyle? When they see you on Instagram, because I haven't seen your Instagram, so I know nothing about you. And just to let people know again, your Instagram account. Oh, where's it again? I have your Instagram account. Okay, so Kyle
what's
Gordy,
the attraction?
Are you like a good-looking guy? Are you tall? Are you intelligent? What is it about you?
I'm well educated. You know, obviously I grew up in a good family. I'm well educated. I have a bachelor's degree. I did well in school. I think some women, find me attractive. I make good-looking kids, I guess. And so, and the truth is, I think a lot of women just feel comfortable because they like it that they get to know me in person, they get to see my features, they get to see what I'm like. Whereas at a sperm bank, it's just a number on a vial, and you really don't know what you're going to get at banks. Because a lot of times at banks, the doctors use their own sperm to impregnate patients, or they switch the vials, or they don't do proper screening. Like a lot of times it's been shown
I would like
that,
to think if you're going,
there was one guy who donated.
Yeah, but if you go to a credible sperm bank, you know, one that's registered and credible, I assume that, you know, all the vials and all the sperm would be tested for STDs, tested for genetic diseases.
Yeah, STDs, yes. Like if you go for like STDs, yes. But of course, with me, I have my STD test. I've never had any issues with that because all I have to do now these days they have rapid STD tests. We can literally take a test right on the spot, and it's like 20 minutes to get your results back. At least in America. But, you know, the real issue is they don't do proper screening. Like a lot of times there's one donor at a sperm bank, it was found he was a pedophile. So essentially they took in a pedophile, they took in another guy who had a huge criminal history, and he said he was this guy with a PhD student. You can look him up, the Zytex donor in Georgia. He claimed he had an IQ of 160 and other stuff, and he lied about everything. So they really don't vet the donors at sperm banks. They're literally just random guys, and As long as the guy has a decent sperm count, they take him.
And
Yeah,
can I-
That's
can I
a
add
long
something
Yeah,
to
well,
that?
hang on. Yeah, sorry, Jonathan, what do you make of Kyle, what he's saying, that a lot of these sperm clinics, you're not really getting what you're paying for as such?
Well, I think they do their best, but one thing that is odd, for example, about my case is that they say you're not allowed to help any new people anymore because you reach a certain limit which we think is enough. But meanwhile, the sperm banks, the big sperm banks around the world, they don't have to tell how many children they have conceived with one donor. And in the Netherlands, they use these clinics, and they can also go up to hundreds of children. But suddenly, because it's a clinic, then it's
okay.
allowed. And I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with them doing that because I'm also like a mass donor. But it's of course very unfair that they judge somebody that is open about his identity, is spending his time effortlessly to help people, to forbid him to donate. But meanwhile, they let the sperm banks do the same. I think that's very strange.
And just finally, Jonathan, I asked Kyle a question, so I'll ask you the same question. What's the attraction with you, Jonathan? I mean, are you an intelligent guy? Do you have like PhDs? And are you a good-looking guy? Why do people select you, or why do women want to have your children?
What I heard, because I think I'm a regular guy. I'm not. I heard that. When they talk with me and they sit with me, they say, well, finally somebody that understands us, our desire, and is willing to help us without any weird, side demands. Like, there's donors that are saying, oh, I'm donate only by cup, but then sneak. When the donors open about saying I want to do it the natural way, that's fine with me. I also did it with a few women natural way, but there are donors that are just like only wanting to do it the natural way and then forcing women into doing that. And like I didn't have. They say, well, you were very open and honest about yourself. You told everything about yourself. Maybe my musical talent. I don't know. It just it always clicked very well, and I can get along with many people. I guess that's.
Yeah, I get you. Well, look, guys, listen, thank you very much indeed to both of you. And I appreciate you coming on the air. Kyle, you wanted to mention your Instagram again. What is it again?
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in contacting me to have a child, or they're interested in possibly dating, you can contact me on my Instagram, KyleGordy1234.
Okay, and Jonathan, do you have an Instagram or YouTube they can contact you if they want to?
People can follow me the best on YouTube. I also start posting now videos about, for example, the court case, the upcoming Netflix documentary, my experience as a sperm donor. And they can go to YouTube, Jonathan Jacob with a C, Meyer with E-J.
Yeah, so it's Meijer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, listen, thank you very much indeed, Jonathan Jacob Meyer, and also thank you very much indeed, Kyle Gordy. I appreciate both of you coming on the air and talking to me this evening. All right, now.
You're welcome.
Right, thank you.
Real people, real opinions, real talk radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.